show the relativity of things. In 2006, we collected $701,000 in property tax. Mortgage tax. Thank you. This year, we're going to collect $290,000. If you remember from the prior sheet, I said we hope to collect 510. Well, we're going to collect 290. If you look at the shortfalls for 2006, 7, 8, and 9, and 10, well, the shortfall to the town of Goshen is $1,203,000. Now that $1,203,000 has to be made up from somebody. It's got to be made up in cost reduction, cost savings, or we've got to tax the public, the businesses and the homeowners, an additional $1,203,000. It's that simple. This is, by the way, if you're reading about Newburgh, this is the technical crisis that they're in. And they're talking about an 83% tax increase with a layoff of 32 people, government employees, because they just do not have the money. The next thing we looked at is sales tax. And in sales tax, the cumulative impact is negligible. It's little change. We had forecast that we wanted to bring in $1 million for 2009. And lo and behold, we're going to bring in $1 million. And the reason for that is that Woodbury Common exists in Orange County. And most of the shoppers in Woodbury Common are from out of state or out of country. And they're spending money like they have all along, and they've not stopped spending money. And we're the beneficiary of that. If we didn't have Woodbury Common, I don't know what we would do. So, sales tax, we're doing okay. So, in January of 2009, we regrouped, and I held a meeting with all department heads. And in that meeting, I said we created a cost control program for 2009. And here are the goals of that meeting. And I want to be very explicit about these goals, because there are a lot of people who don't believe me. But here's what it is. We were looking for financial stability in the town of Goshen. Can we pay our bills for the balance of the year, from January through December? The top goal was to protect jobs for full-service employees. If somebody signed on for a career with the town of Goshen, we wanted to honor that. A part-timer, you got to take your chances. But we were trying to protect full-time jobs with no layoffs. We wanted to protect services. People in our community expect services. The roads to be plowed, police protection, marriage licenses, dog licenses, or whatever, building inspectors. And we wanted to provide all the services without cutting back on the services. And above all, we wanted to weather this economic storm. And folks, this storm that we're working in is probably the most serious storm that we've been in since the Great Depression. And I can speak firsthand about that because I sit in the office in the other room and I hear people call me every day crying, or coming in and crying. They can't pay their bills, they're going bankrupt, whatever all these things are. And I didn't sign up for that kind of job, but that's what reality is in the town of Goshen. This recession has come to Goshen. Now, I also reviewed with all the department heads, here are the things that we've got to do, starting in January. And I'm not going to go through them all, okay? But these are the kinds of things that we put on the table that we have to do starting right now in January so that we can get through calendar year 2009 and have enough money to pay our people, our employees. It's that simple. If we don't do these things, because the tax levy had already been levied, if we don't do these things, we're going to end up the year short. We're not going to have money to pay people. And as it turned out, we've done just fine in 2009. If you get down to item 7, implement a hiring freeze starting immediately. we either have lost 7 people and or not hired people who were in the budget. We have saved the costs for 7 people in calendar year 2009 through attrition and by not hired. So those are the kinds of things that we've done. Okay. So that brings us up to August. In August is when we start budgeting. And we normally, when you budget, it's real simple, like in a household budget. You look at what you think you're going to make and bring in revenue, and you look and see what you're going to spend on expenses. If your expenses exceed revenues, you got to say, well, what am I not going to spend money on? If you say, I want to eat out 15 times a month, and well, we don't have the money, well, I guess we better cut it down to 3 times a month. We're the same. So, but there was one new thing that we looked at this year. In addition to looking at revenues and expenses, we looked at the financial health of our community. The ability of people to pay taxes, to extract the money from them to pay the bills. And to look at that, I looked at 3 individual criteria. The first thing I did is I looked at recent bond referendums in the town of Goshen. A new school, a new library, and a new fire hall. And you read the papers, you saw what it was. Not only were they voted down, they were voted down profoundly. Profoundly. People said, not now. Maybe later, but not now. I look at unpaid taxes. If you read the Chronicle last week, and you were in the back pages of it, you saw page after page after page of people who were delinquent in paying their taxes. In the town of Goshen, there were 196 parcels with people's names where they did not pay their taxes. And their houses are going to be put up for a tax sale if they don't pay the taxes by a certain time this coming year. Now, either they willfully said that I'm not going to pay them, or they don't have the ability to pay them. 196 parcels. The next thing is what we call unpaid water and sewer bill levy, or re-levy to the county. What happens is, we have 4 water districts and 2 sewer districts. If someone elects not to pay their taxes, their sewer bills and water bills, or can't pay them, they accumulate for the year, and then in November, we give this list of names and the bills due to the county. And they put that on their property tax. We went through this on Monday of this week. The total number was $288,000 of unpaid water and sewer bills or related sewer bills. Some of that was meters. $288,000. That's an incredible number. To me, it's frightening. There were people as high as $8,000 of unpaid water and sewer bills, on top of the tax they're going to have to pay this coming year. What's going to happen? Though some of those homes are going to be put up for tax sale. I'm just convinced of that, unless these people come into a windfall. One person called me on Monday and said, my wife lost her job. I have a family. You put a re-levy in on my water and sewer bill. I couldn't pay it. And I got a bill today and I can't pay it either. What can you do to help me? In reality, that's what's going on. So, that's the budgeting process that we started in August. Now, we have some principles that we put together that we use in the budgeting preparation process. The town of Goshen has a 5-year budget that we use. We initiated this action back in 2006. Most municipalities just look at 1 year, and I don't know how they can possibly do a job with 1 year. Schools and cities have to have a 5-year budget. It's optional for towns and villages. It's not optional for cities and schools. So we use it, and we use it in the decision making. I can tell you, for example, right now, if we think the 2010 budget's tough, wait till 2011. I can also tell you in 2012 we're going to get a reprieve because we're going to pay off a lot of debt in 2009, 10, and 11. So we're looking forward to what's going on.